Yesterday when I came in the room, I was attracted to a title on one of the cassette sets back there, and it says, "Life is supposed to be fun." Mm-hmm. And I've been chewing around on that for about the last 3 years. About 3 years ago, I was in a job that had become increasingly uncomfortable, so I decided to leave the job and proceed on and look for work that was fun. And for the last 3 years, I have been working on that to the point where I'm working on it, I'm applying the principles that you have been teaching, although I only became acquainted with them last year. And what I have found is that I'm at a point where nothing is happening. That I sit there and wonder what to do next, the action part of it. And what I have done in the past is, one thing is to take action. I would say I'm not an action-oriented person, but I will use action to seed reality and see if anything crystallizes around it.
It's a good way to see action.
And at this point, though, I just sit and wonder, what are the dynamics of this thing? How long do I sit in time and wait and wonder and want before something really happens?
See, what is happening, if you are in that sort of a holding pattern, then that is an indicator that you are wanting and doubting, wanting and worrying. In other words, it is an indicator of this sort of energy flow. What you're wanting to do and what will happen to you, you're going to see an amazing thing happen from this point forward. As you begin to round up that energy that has been going off that way and flow it that way, then you will begin to feel some movement. It is about the purity of energy flow. Most physical beings find it difficult to get excited about something that doesn't include action. And yet, passion or excitement comes from pure energy flow. If you can talk about what you want, talk about how you want to feel, talk about what you want to have, talk about some sort of things you'd like to do, or remember things from the past that felt good that you would like to live again, and you can stay focused there pretty consistently for a little while. We're talking about 5 or 10 minutes here, 5 or 10 minutes here, 5 or 10 minutes here for a few days. You can get some very strong momentum going. And what happens is you blast that energy out in advance and you create a visual, an absolute reality that begins to vibrate of its own accord because you've given life to it. And then it vibrates and reaches out and actually beckons the action right out of you. Most physical beings take action from a place of lack. Most physical beings are prodded from what they don't want rather than called to what they do want. So what you are wanting to do is to paint a clear picture of such vivid reality that it lives and breathes and summons you. You see what we're talking about? So since you are action-oriented, now let us back up a little bit here, and we believe we can help you because you've been listening to some of our earlier offerings about this. We saw so many of our physical friends not even understanding that they were creating their own experience. And so we began using terminology such as, you are the creator of your reality. And most of them said, yeah, we know. In other words, there was not anything that was really felt about it. Logically, they assumed it. Many of them wanted to believe it, but there was not any real feeling around it. And then, in order to evoke more of that feeling, we started to say, you are the creator of your experience, but let's use a better word. You are the attractor. So that gave them the sense of that was a little different than the action orientation that they were accustomed to. Rather than targeting something and going out there and getting it, attraction was more like vibrating it and letting it come to them. So attraction and allowing are actually one and the same thing. As I think, I vibrate, and as I vibrate, I attract. And as I maintain my feeling good, I allow what I've attracted to not only come, but to stay. But still, there was confusion about it from our action-oriented fiends, or friends, we mean friends. And the confusion was that still they were wanting to know what to do. In other words, you are action-oriented, and the doing is what feels real to you. The sitting and thinking, in other words, you've said to us, do I just sit and do nothing? And we want to say, thinking isn't doing nothing. Flowing energy isn't doing nothing. That is what worlds are made from. There isn't anything that you could do or be or participate within that is more emphatic than the flowing of energy. So then, in an attempt to be more expressive and to give you more of a feeling of not only having your hands on the steering wheel of where you are guiding your experience, but your foot on the throttle in terms of how fast you are making it happen, we began expressing in terms of how am I flowing my energy. So, here are the options. You can think of something you want. A little wisp of spewing. You can think of something you don't want, a little wisp of not wanting. Sort of boring and dull. And if you stay on either of those very long, they'll get bigger. So if you start out by saying, well, I think I'd like that. Not sure, I think I would. Why would I? You begin to talk about it and explore it, and then attract more, which gives you deeper insight, and then attract more, and you're not doing any of this over here, you're just doing it all this way, then what happens is a momentum begins by law of attraction. And the momentum becomes so strong that you find yourself invigorated, vital, enthusiastic. Ideas are coming fast, people are coming fast, doors are opening fast, and it's fun while it's happening, you see. And in the same way, if you get negatively focused, and you don't give it any positive balance, then it gets negative fast. What most of you do is a little bit of all of that. So you hold yourself in a state of what you call limbo, where you go this way and you go that way, and you go this way and you go that way, but you're going nowhere in reality. And the more you want, the worse it feels, sort of thing. If you can just put it in the context of flowing energy, and you will from this point forward, it is our absolute knowing. Never again will you feel yourself flowing your energy in the opposite direction of what you want and not know you're doing that. And then you'll say, oh, wait a minute, what is it I want? And before you know it, you will have the momentum going. And this is going to happen fast for you, and let us tell you why. You'll have done enough wanting to keep yourself busy for 30 lifetimes. You've done enough identifying of that which is at the core of your wanting. Now all you have to do is more consistently flow your energy in one pure stream, and it's going to knock your socks off, the physical evidence that begins to come to you, and the passion with which you move forward in your joyous, evolving journey. We'll give you a little bit of warning. It's going to get better and better. In other words, with each thing that you want, not only are you going to attract that thing, but from that, you are going to have a new perspective from which to want. Physical beings keep thinking, when I get over there, then I'll be happy. And we say, no, you won't. When you get over there, you won't be over there. When you get over there, you won't be over there. In other words, it is eternal. That's why you keep being willing to come back into the physical experience. We never, ever, ever get it done. And yet as physical creatures, you are so accustomed to beginnings and endings that you call birth and death, that you won't allow yourself to live in the now. You won't allow yourself to live in the joy of the now. And what we are wanting you to realize is that the joy is not in being over there. The joy is in getting over there. The joy is in the identifying what's over there, and the speculating what it might be like, and the comparing it with other things, and the making the decision that I would like to be there, and then the flowing of the energy there so that you get closer and closer until you get a better look, and then you make a better decision, and then you attract more information. This is the way you are molding your clay into your joyful experience, you see. You see. Good.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Indeed. Have fun with this.